Video has started. Video has started. This is the Z28 completion from the last video I made. The video showing the wrong car at the start of it. It's showing this RS Camaro. You can hardly read it because the saturation's something wrong with saturation of the video. It's showing too much shade and too much with the shades and the uncolored color. The whites, the greys, the blacks. The white's been contrasted with that. Too much of the shading. Enough of the colour. This is a video showing the start with this car for some reason, the RS. Showing the wrong car at the start. It should have been this Z28 video picture. I bought it yellow stock. Did nothing but customise it and work on it. If I hadn't put a library on it, I probably could make one for it. But then it wouldn't be as original to a certain devaluing of a vehicle. Considering one of the pink finger or golden finger from GoldenEye or something. What was his name again? Goldfinger or something. Goldfinger's car from 007. One of the 007 protagonists was against GoldenEye. Against the Lethal Weapon. What was his name again? The Goldfinger's car, even though I've made a similar gold, but it's more green. Yellow inside. I probably should change the interior. It looks a bit different, a bit messed up. Check out the visual parts. Go to interior. Side mirrors. Skirts. Not enough colours to choose from for the interior. Choose black, but it's only one colour. It's not you can't choose multiple. No, leave it the way it is. Might go to colour though. No, oh no, yep. What colours are meant to be? Oh, that looks nice. It is the one of these colours, that one. Oh, check that out. Oh, yeah, it is this one. Performance is it's got some nice parts on it, but it needs better. I need to get the full set for these epic parts at 280 max level. Suspension's a bit low. It's not that great of a value either. It's only in blue. It's only a blue part, but it's hurting the car a bit with its value. This is another good car. Got a bunch of nice muscle cars. I'll show you it's the Charge RT Hemi. This is the Challenger RT. The Supercharger. Put Supercharger in all my muscle cars. This is the only one that hasn't really got a Supercharger, but it has got the scoop on it. It's got the scoop on it, but you don't see the Supercharger. Supercharger. This one as well. The Challenger SRT Hellcat Street Race. It's got a livery on it. I made the livery myself. All these cars, every livery on these cars I've made myself, not selves. That's just stupid. GT500. I made this livery for the drag car. Where's its plaque? There it is. Challenger SRT 8392 Drag Race Edition. I made this livery for this car. Made this livery for this car. The Kinetic Star. And Kinetic Star. They believe it. First car I purchased on this Crew 2, the Crew 2 Mustang GT Fastback. You have 3 options to choose. I chose the Mustang because I like muscle. The other 2 options is a Nissan and I've forgotten the other one, Mercedes I think. I don't remember the other one. That one's a Nissan, Fairlady or something. This isn't all my cars though, I've got plenty more. I'll show you the car list. The way the pictures are always gotta load up again. It keeps getting unloaded. All my muscle cars are at the top. So it's the Camaros and the Fastback and the RS, Camaros and Hellcat, GT500, Charger, Challenger. Then there's a motorbike. The motorbike is pretty brutal. 911 Turbo. Another motorbike. This Mercedes. I've been trying to do up every car I have with every part I have. If I've got the part and it's available for a vehicle and it upgrades it, I thought I'll try and put it on and choose it. But this one is it's just normal. Mine's a Grand Theft Auto's electric car. This one. And this one here, I don't even think I should have it. I wish I could sell cars I don't want. Sell vehicles I don't want. Get some money for them. I don't want every vehicle that's on this list. I've got no choice but to have them in my inventory. Like, may have put some colour on the rims and change the rims of this one, but look at the performance. It's only got 2 parts I've added to it. Otherwise, it's pretty much all stock. And this one here, it's got a few parts on it, but they're not that great. Cheap Dark Horse. And this thing here, I don't even think I've ever driven this. Like, why would you want an open car like that? Especially when the weather effects. You can't even close the roof. See me out patting yourself. Looks like air in your face and wind in your face and always feeling the weather. Why would you want that car? Then this one, there's another one that could be similar to the electric car on Grand Theft Auto that I chose not to want. Like, pretty useless commodities. It's cars I don't need. There's a Maserati and it looks like it's bloody hopeless. The perf level, I mean, like 158 out of 280. And it's got parts on it. It's only meant to be 120. Like, it's meant to be really good cars, and the levels of this is ridiculously low. Top end cars with vehicle perf level, which means performance, I thought. Or perforation, performance, meaning perf. It's showing levels that are ridiculously low. RS5 Coupe. It's not this Fairlady I'm speaking of, it's a different one. More modern. This is the old one that I didn't think should be even on this list. One of the cars that probably shouldn't be on here. PS30 for some reason is written there. PS30 information, I think that's showing that warning, you're in danger with setting the company Sony. Kind of thought it's how many cars and warnings they have within games. If something's going wrong with your saved data or your application, it's not legitimate. And this is the car that shows up in one of them to show it's not legitimate. This is one of the fake cars not meant to be in your list. R34 Skyline Drift Edition. Well, that's why I said that to this car, because the performance is only 15 without putting parts on it. Like, what car would you even have in a racing game that's only got a 15 perf level? That's a racing car, street race. It'd be a street race car, and it's less than a motorbike. It's less than the smallest motorbike. Motorbikes are small engines, majority, compared to cars. This is the drift car I've worked on. Parts are still ridiculously low. Horsepower, not too bad. Colour looks like it's changed. I had a better colour than that. That's the wrong colour, I think. So much of the information keeps changing. The colour on that's different. Hypercar. Only hypercar I have. Only have one hypercar. Parts are pretty crap. Not that good. Only blue and purple, but they're even pretty low. 247. I've had lower parts. Bunch of different parts. Start at 226 for some reason. Very low. Hardly gain much. Here's another car I wouldn't want to drive. Protection in the front says not wind in the face, but where's the protection at all? Where would you even drive a car like this? On a beach somewhere? On a beach? Go exploring on a beach on an island or something? I don't know. One of those cars you think it's only good for fun, recreation, just to mess around in the outback or something, on a farm or something. On a farm or on bloody massive property. Go spotlighting. This is one of my favourite motorbikes. Parts are pretty low. We've got blues. Bunch of racing rally raid trucks. This is a rally raid motorbike. Bunch of rally raid trucks. If I had the choice, I'd choose a motorbike, even though its top speed's only 205. Brake horsepower is pretty low. Only 1,500 horsepower. I don't know what the B stands for, but horsepower is low for some reason. Like most of my cars and vehicles, it seems like the horsepower is not as high as they should be. Oh, look at this, it's 620 horsepower, it only does 193. 193 kilometers an hour, and it's got 620 horsepower. This looks like a fun vehicle. Going along sand dunes or something. Bunch of vehicles I haven't really had much time in. That one's got 0 distance, haven't even driven it. 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, 0, 9, 325. The only MX. I think it's the only MX. Yeah, there are RXs. The only MX I got. 23 kilometers driven in. Same horsepower as a rally raid motorbike. Less top speed. And this car here I've gotten on one of the updates. I haven't even touched it or even looked at it. Like it's minimum 160. It's meant to be a limited edition and it's only got 160 perf level. Take a bit of parts to get it going a bit more. Shitty Ford Focus. Never liked little cars. Always get cramped in them. 102. Better off going a small car, bloody 911. Smaller car than probably this one. Maybe not. Lower frictional force, lower to the ground. Then my monster truck, I put a livery on and changed a bit of parts. I can't go around looking at it. I could have selected it and driven it. The monster truck I'd like to sell. I don't like little Bath, little Reynolds, you know, dumb. Why drive that little car? We can drive this big little car. Big little monster dummy. Rattlesnake, dodging fucking destruction car. Change the paint job on it. Now I've got the touring cars. I don't know that 10 was still on there. If I put it on there, I don't remember. Don't know why it's there. See, it's a bunch of liveries I had no choice to have. Looking at the perf levels, this one's got the best perf level. Oh, it's got a little bit of parts on it. No parts. No parts. A bunch of touring cars. Touring car. Touring car. There's only whatever A represents, alpha. Don't know what the A represents, but there's only 2 of those cars, and I bought the more expensive. I thought, well, if I was going to pay for one, I might as well get the better one. If they're new improved, it should be better, but I think I found out the other one's better. The F1's quicker. For some reason this one's not as good or something. It's got a little bit of parts on, but I think some parts are missing. Thought I had more than that on it. Then we go to the boats. This is a Jet Sprint. Livery is already on it. I kept the livery on it and just changed the colour. Then we go to the Aero boat. Well, I don't know why it has Aero on it. I haven't worked it out. Good is a favourite. Same again. Performance parts, performance levels very low. Even though this is the highest performance part in the PB boat. Which I don't know what the PB stands for. Power boat or something. This is the highest performance level boat, but this one's better. 252, maybe it's not. No, it's not better. Well, this one's changed. It was better. some reason this one's changed. Something's changed with it. This one top speed was way more than that. I somehow believe it was better. Maybe this one's gotten better actually. I perfed it. I put more parts on this one, so like its minimum was 113 perf level. And it's got a bunch of parts on it. This one minimum's 99, so 14 more perf level. This one started as. This one's more of a race boat, offshore Mk1, which I put a library on. I made a library for, and just a bunch of mix thrown together, just to make it stand out as mine. With a bunch of what are the names of them? Brands, bunch of brand names put on it. And the Blade Runner, it's one of those free boats. Not that good. And the hovercraft. And airplanes. Bunch of libraries. Hovercraft, I changed the colour to it. Put a livery on 3 aircraft, one I hadn't. Like this one here seems to be pretty good. It's the highest perf level. Spitfire's one of my favourite propeller planes. Aeroplanes. But it seems to be not top speed's nowhere near it should be. It doesn't fly fast enough. I don't know if it's a library it's doing that, or there's something breaking every vehicle I have. Top speed's never fast enough for all of them. Like this one here, it said 600 and something top speed. Barely even does 300. Mustn't be. It's like they're not flying properly, or something's wrong with the ability to fly. So they all don't fly as quick as they should. I can prove this one that was 600. Just gotta put it to stock, and then it says 600. See, 685 top speed at stock. Top speed says 685 there. 620 brake horsepower. 685 kilometers an hour top speed. Well, it's like this vehicle should be just stuck at stock and don't do anything to it. Don't put any parts on or something. Well, it's showing the stats, what it says with the handling. Expert, top speed 685. Power 1620 brake horsepower. Distance I've driven is 556. Flown, I mean, it's 556 kilometers. You put the parts on it and it just drops. See, it just says 380. Dropped from 685 to 359. Brake horsepower gained 37 horsepower. It shows cruise speed 306. Quarter mile 7.03. Lateral G 4.64. Roll rate 103.48 degrees a second. But the top speed just drops. What it says on the stats, what it can do. I don't know if it's what I can do, what I can get it to, because it goes on the ability to be able to fly, to be able to keep in the set it's to speed, if it's to height, to the setting to fin, the fade, the way you fly, the way you're flown, the way you fin, the fan, the way your ability to maneuver in the air, to keep ability to keep moving instead of entrapping air in places that make you slower by keeping your speed to its maximum instead of being to the minimum. It means the height of the visual, to how high you are, to how much acceleration you got added, to how much maneuvering you do, to how sharp you turn, how much you turn, how much you slow down. Oh, this is an air race vehicle, so it should be pretty quick. Judging by the perf levels of these parts are not doing any good for it. Well, the motor core is missing, which is one of the problems. It's got the minimum motor core. The parts I do have are all at 160 or higher. 160 or higher. Only two parts missing is rudder and motor core. But even with these parts, it says throttles, rudder, fuselage, exhaust, motor core, ECU, and gearbox. But these aren't even all the parts to an aircraft. There's ailerons, and then there's the lift. The rudder's to the left and the right, the yaw. Ailerons is the roll. Then there's the lift, which I've forgotten the lift, which I've been forced to forget. The up and down, like the ascending and descending. Which I forgot to ask Dad again. Every time I speak to him, I try to ask him questions I keep forgetting. Should look it up probably. Aircraft. I'll check Google. Aircraft maneuvering parts information.
According to NASA, the ability to change forces gives us a means of controlling and maneuvering the airplane. The hinged part of the vertical stabilizer is called the rudder. It is used to deflect the tail to the left and right as viewed from the front of the fuselage.
I wanted to not know the rudder. I wanted to know the lift. The lift and the ascending to a descending. Pitch. It says it's pitch. Then there's flaps, and then has all the parts on that one. I better take a screenshot. There's way more than what I've said. There's drag, there's lift, there's thrust, control, fuselage, and that says slats or increased lift, slats or something, spoiler, change lift, drag and roll, aileron like I said. Then there's flaps. Flaps are used for slowing down and to keep the nose up for landing. Elevator, which is change, it says pitch. Rudder, change yaw. Vertical stabilizer, control yaw. So that's same as rudder. Horizontal stabilizer, control pitch. Winglet, decrease drag. Wing, generate lift. Turbine engine, generate thrust. Well, that's with a jet. This has got a propeller engine. It's still thrust, but I think it's a little bit different when it's called. I thought it's called something different. Pretty much know nothing, but I'm trying to explain something without knowing nothing. So the airplane itself says airplane. Propeller. Propel is what it is. Maybe I'm getting it confused. Parts of airplane and their functions. It's supposed to be propeller. Propeller, airplane. And airplane functions. Not showing the picture as well. Maybe it's not allowing me to know. I'm getting the wording not right. I'm getting it right. Turbine engine. Well, it's not a turbine engine on a propelled aircraft for the propeller. Turbines with wind and fire and jet. Sucking in, blowing out. It sucks and blows. Propeller sucks and blows, but it doesn't throw out fucking fire. Or, you know, it'd be nice to have a jet on this game. Instead of just propelled aircraft. But it wouldn't have anything suitable to racing. Most aircraft are thrusts, like a turbine engine. Most aircraft are turbines, either passenger or fighter. Not really racing. Not racing. It's one of the free updated aircraft. A lot of vehicles in here I'd like to be able to sell and get some money for. It would be nice to be able to get profit from it. What vehicle do I want to drive? I might destroy. Let me check out my boats. See if that boat's disappeared again. King's there. Ah, cool, it's there. All my boats are here. There's a hovercraft. Don't know how it's floating, it's not turned on. Suppose when it turns off it can still float. You know, it's not creating air. One seater, flower machine. So you race that too. Jet sprint. Is that a king one or hinge one? Hard to read. Bright mother in front of it. Aero boat. SV12. It's nice when you see the NOS coming out of the exhaust just there, and it's flames coming out of it. Like a hammer on the water. Blah, blah, blah. These bloody, this boat here says supercharged on the back of it. It says supercharged motors. Doesn't go that quick though. It drives like this one. This one is pretty bloody good, pretty quick. Nice seeing those supercharged out. Seeing the flames come out of the exhaust, it makes you get whoa. You hammer along the water. You gotta be careful though. I go ditching in the rocks and bloody crashing all the time. I'm out when I'm driving them. They've got little bubbles around them, like it's gonna sink, like it's got leaks. I'm out on the water. They make bubbles around the boats, like they've got leaks all around the boats. So I ditch them on rocks and bloody hit them on banks. That could be part of damaging. There's something damaging of them. I've done damage to them. If they are part of reality. Huh. I can sit in it. He's got all these controls. Like, this is meant to be part of the flight control, supposedly. Oh, it says aeroboat. Well, aero means flight in air. That's what I believed aero meant. Aeroplane, aeroboat. Aeroplane, well, as far as I know, what aero meant was visual to the side to be up in the air. So I don't get how to use this in aeroboat. It says speed, RPM, water, boost, trim, fuel, volts. Then it's got gauges to say. I'm not sure what those gauges mean. But below the speed, the two are the same. Maybe they're the engines. It's only one engine, isn't it? It's not two. Don't know. It's got two propellers. Could be propellers. All those switches on the dash. The location, the Armatai. I don't know what it's called in English. I think it's called Armatai, like navigation. Northeast, southwest location device. Then it's got these little bloody levers here, which I thought if you can pull them down, you can go on the air. There's got a little control there, like a little flight stick control. Let's start engine. Let it warm up. Sounds sick. I can hear the something's wrong with it. I hear tapping noises. Not the rev, the idling. I hear a motor sound within a motor sound. A motor within a motor, it sounds like. Looking at the tacos. Island's a bit high. RPM. Figures that all motors are meant to warm up at 1,000 and idle at 700, 750. Fuel says it's out empty. It's got 0 on it where it is. It's not even showing the gauge properly. The idling, the RPM one works, but not responsive enough. I put it up flat, that's flat, and it just has to build to get to the top. Doesn't even rev out, it doesn't even rev high enough. Like the fucking thing's blown and broken, it's destroyed. Doesn't even rev high enough. It blew up to 9,000, it's only doing like 4, it's only doing 4,000. Fuel says it's got nothing in it. Not even showing any fuel gauges flashing like it's nearly empty. Speed's flashing. 0. Not even responsive. Not even revving anywhere near it should be. Bunch of flashing like there's damage. The fucking thing's destroyed. Not revving high enough. Sounds horrible. Something's wrong with it. Check this one out. You're in the wrong seat, moron. Gotta get out. There we are. You can't even rev them up. This one, fuel gauge, it says it's full. There's the oil gauge. Tiny little gauge I don't know. Other gauge I can't see. It's got 2 fuel gauges for some reason. Must have 2 set to each engine. Two sets of gauges, one for one engine, one for the other. It's got 2 rev limiters as well. Must have 2 engines. 2 speedos, maybe it's for the passenger. Oh yeah, navigation dude. This is an actual race boat, supposedly. Information for the co-racing. Not meant to be for fun and game. Meant to be for running away. Got their own gauges. Well, they're choked. They're all choked. They're not revving out like they should. They're not revving like they should. They're choking. They've all got chokes on them. They've got their chokes on so you don't blow them up. It's fucking ridiculous. Everyone's got a choke on them. Like, how should I sit them and just let them rev for a bit to warm them up? And then see they'd warm up after 5 minutes of just sitting in it idling? This one here's got next to no gauges at all. Looks cramped. Digital display there, digital display there. Steering wheel's in the way, can't see it. But that's the end. Navigation or set to location. Don't know what it is. Don't remember the word of it. Suppose to start this one, you just push on the accelerator. This one's got no gauges. Bad boat. No gauges. Can't see the stats to the engine. Got warning lights down there. No roof. Can't look after this boat. It's got no gauges. It's got one. Showing the rev limiter there. One for all. Digital, but the steering wheel's in the way to read it. Oh, they read this digital display. Steering wheel's in the way. What a silly spot to put it. Speedo. I didn't turn it off. I just jumped out. Bladrumpus. You bladrumped me. Gotta get back in you and put on a smell with you. I bladrumped you, so I gotta prem sport in you. I can't. Need to be able to rev it up high. Yeah, I turned you up properly that time. Haven't been able to rev you up high. And then jet sprint boat. Gauges. Oh yeah. There's the RPM. Turbo something. Bunch of switches. Bunch of switches. Oh, I like the sound of you. Still got chokes on them. You can't rev them out. It's only revving at 400. Maybe 350. 373. What's the point of getting in these vehicles and starting if you can't rev them out? You've got neutral and you don't put them all in gear, do you? You don't always put them in gear when you're driving them. Sometimes you got to put them out of gear. Let some of the wind take you. Some of the wind under the ground, under the water. current. If you remember that said fucking boating, that thing, the vesting boating. Never enough fuel wherever you're going. Got to use the current to get to the place you need to be. I did that in one of my Academy tests. One of my nightmares I got stuck within against around the world in the Mountain contract. The boat wouldn't start. Fucked me over. It stalled and wouldn't start. It wouldn't keep going. One of those mother tests. The boat breaks down on you. What do? Oh, they don't test you in the theory, they test you with practical. You got to do it yourself. The boat really does break down and you got to really find out what to do. You got to really do something about it. Around the world in a mad vein. Out of its centimeters, ain't it? You never know what to do, really. You just got to be a part of the reason to start doing something, supposedly. Start at the beginning. Start with what you know, what you have, the problem in front of you. And start to do an analogy. Find the reasoning of what to start to what to begin, where the problem is. Where you can find the problem to begin to where to start. Like if you have something wrong with the thrust or the acceleration, and obviously there's like a choke or something on, and it's still like an old, like the old Mazda 1300 had a choke on it, and you had to put the choke on to get it to stay running. It put the rev limiters up, and then help with fuel. Puts more fuel in, chokes the air out. I don't know what it did. Cold starter wouldn't stay started. What a 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4, 5 propel. Keep him around. Get back there. Garage. Let's drive a car. Yeah, why not? Changing car here. They keep backfiring. Like the fuel's something fucking wrong with the fuel. So, can I see the fuel gauge? That's what I should see. Wait up. I know what to do. And I'll be back in the hangar and I'll get in the car and have a good look. Have a better look where I can move the camera around instead of just seat. Now I can move the camera around. That's the lights. Fuel gauge. Says it is full, or is it empty? Fuel gauge is with the speedometer. Same gauge as the speedometer. I don't know if that's E on the left or F. It's either full or empty. I'll start engine. Like it's running on empty. It's running low fuel. Or it's running totally full. Don't know if that's E or an F. I wonder if I can get on the left side and have a look. Close the door. I mean right side, not left. Wrong side, I'm confusing vehicles. That's an F, maybe? No, I can hardly see it. Both sides can't see it. Maybe open this up and just have a look in. Can't see it. And you need like head tracking, like a show, like what's his name? Mr. Moose is shown with his truck driving simulations on his YouTube account or Twitch account. Head tracker where you can move your head around and look around, like where you move your heads, where it shows your vehicle, and so like it shows you visual, like moving your heads to maneuver to the right stick on the PlayStation controller, or I'm moving this guy's character. Because if you have certain head tracking ability, you can actually probably lean forward as well, and lean forward and shift to the right, shift to the left to be able to see past obstacles. I was looking at this speedo, I'll get in the car and I'll show you that I can't read it. I don't know if it's an F or an E. Don't know whether that's an F or in the speedometer, below the 0, where the line shows it's at 0 kilometers an hour. The fuel gauge, I don't know if that says an F or an E right near the fuel gauge symbol. Where it's saying it's all the way to the right. If that's an F, it means it's empty. Even when you start it, the gauge doesn't recognise, doesn't change, doesn't move. It's either totally full or totally empty. Revolutions per minute. So I don't know if it's popping, like backfiring because of the low fuel, or if it's